Hello and welcome to another episode of our recycling podcast. Recycle, don't be a waster. In today's episode, we will cover something a bit topical, I guess. There's lots of news coverage in the media about oil prices, gas prices, oil shortages, all that sort of stuff. It feels almost like we're back to the 70s with escalating oil prices and different things. So in today's episode, we will cover a little bit of how recycling can help oil prices, how recycling can help fuel and decrease the need for new carbon fuels or carbon-based fuels like petrol. So often when we do these podcasts and we research or look into some recycling issues, we often find that old saying, there's nothing new under the sun, is often true. And one thing we'll see is like recycling, which we often think of as a very modern activity, as a very, or high-tech and newfangled thing, is actually not as new as we think. So what we'll cover today is cooking oil, and what is used in restaurants, fast food restaurants, chip shops, those sort of places where they're using large amounts of cooking oil. So the first thing to point out, I think we may have covered this on another podcast, that obviously you should not pour cooking oil down the sink. I had a colleague recently saying that in the Sydney floods this week, there's a lot of topical stories in this podcast. We're living in interesting times. In the Sydney floods this week, his drains were blocked. So when they called out a plumber, they found that somebody had been pouring large amounts of cooking oil down the drains. And of course, what happens when you do that is when the cooking oil gets away from the sun and the light and it goes cold at night, it hardens and blocks the pipes. And of course, that is a reason for grease traps. But so, yeah, the lesson there is nobody should be pouring oil or grease down sinks or drains. Obviously, that would create much more problems than it solves. So what should be done with cooking oil? First thing is you should not reuse cooking oil because it can be dangerous, and there are medical issues regarding that. And of course, any restaurant or business doing that would sooner or later lose their customer base and likely be shut down. So what should you do with this oil? Thankfully, in Australia, nearly all commercial cooking oil is collected for recycling, or should I say upcycling. So the definition or the difference between upcycling and recycling would be using it for the same thing again, i.e. cooking oil. But upcycling is taking that oil, which was previously used to cook food and still is the vast majority of its benefits, of its calories, etc. in there, and we can use that then to create biofuel. I think we're nearly all in Australia in 2022, and most countries, we're very used to seeing the E10. I think it's called unleaded fuel at the pumps. It's often green labelled or a certain colour. And that indicates that a certain percentage of plant-based oils are in that fuel to dilute it down and to make it go further. So often that is, plant-based oils. A lot of it is coming imported from Latin America, but also a lot of it can be coming from used cooking oil. So say you operate a fast food restaurant, a chip shop, and you have large amounts of cooking oil. You're talking very large numbers of litres. How do you get rid of this? You can use companies such as Auscol, AUSCOL, which is certainly the leading player in Australia. It's a part of the Grain Corp organisation, and it's been active in this space for circa 50 years or more, whereby in very many cases they will provide your business with a container, a large drum or some containment measure system, and then they will come on a regular basis, depending on your needs, and empty that and take away the oil. This is generally a free service because obviously the company, Auscol, gets benefit from that used oil, and you benefit from not having to pay to dispose of it. So they take this away and they put it through a chemical or a process, and that process then turns it into a biodiesel or biofuel that is used to add to petrol and helps fuel your cars and reduce Australia's need for relying on international markets for buying our petrol, which is obviously good for the environment. So it's a good news story. It's surprising to accept that it's been around for 50 or 60 years just from reading the information. I'm reading here, just reading on the internet about it, how many places use it. So upcycling is the process of transforming a waste product into something of greater value, i.e. biodiesel is the best thing that can happen to our used cooking oil. I certainly agree with that, and they provide this service currently, just from their website. They're currently servicing more than 5,000 Australian restaurants, fast food outlets, shopping centres and food manufacturers. So it is a good news story. It's it's a classic example of what we call resource recovery, where it's a valuable product, it's a valuable material, and by reusing it, by recycling it, we save money, we save the economy money, we save the environment, and I suppose everybody wins. Auscol is financially incentivized to do it. The customers, the fast food restaurants, are also incentivized to work with them. And then, of course, fingers crossed, it keeps down our petrol prices at the pumps, and it reduces our need for importation, and it reduces the need for more drilling and all that stuff until we've better ways of powering our cars. They're probably the current petrol based, or even the electrical cars we have at the moment, which clearly come with significant side effects through batteries and producing the batteries, and that's something we'll cover in a future episode. But yeah, we'll leave it there today. I think in a future episode we'll also cover how plastic can be turned into oil, which again it's a related topic, and I think it's pertinent at this point in time in considering the news. So have a great day, and remember, recycle, don't be a waster.